we're kind of a little bit stranded as well. I'm actually genuinely feeling really quite anxious now. I'm feeling like I don't want this van anymore.
Welcome back to the channel. This is not a video that I enjoy making. Really didn't want to be doing this. Got some bad news, and it's just unbelievable, really. I mean, Janine and I are really still processing it. We just spent the most amazing weekend in Sussex at a campsite, Alfriston campsite, with some very dear friends to us. Very wonderful, kind people. Had the most amazing weekend, and we were driving away from Sussex towards Birmingham to drop the van off at my dad's house so that we can go off on a 5-week adventure that we've planned and booked. Last minute, obviously. As you know, Morgan, our camper van, has having some weight issues. I managed to get a new C1 license, managed to get him uprated. We are just waiting for the logbook back to say he's officially uprated. Until then, we can't really take him off to do some big adventures, the camper van, because we need that logbook, so it's too complicated. So unfortunately the waiting list for the logbook is potentially up to 2 months. So from the DVLA, they've really clogged up right now apparently. So we thought, rather than sitting around just twiddling our thumbs, we'll go off and do something amazing, something that I've wanted to do for almost 20 years since I read a book. And I'm not going to go into details about what that adventure is unless I know that we can definitely do it. At the moment it's 50-50 because of what's happened. Anyway, we were driving the van to Birmingham, to my dad's house, where he said that we could leave it for 5 weeks and he'll keep an eye on it and run the engine and stuff. As we were heading up towards Birmingham, we got just outside of Brighton and the engine said, the thermostat went beep, flew up and said it was overheating. I pulled over instantly. Thankfully, there was a really large lay-by next to us. I pulled over instantly, stopped the engine, got out, lifted up the bonnet, and the thing's, just steaming away. Not good, not good. Something's happened, and there was some brown fluid on top of the air filter in there, to where it sprayed out. So, called the RAC up. This time, the RAC came in about an hour, which was amazing. And they had a look at it, and he said, you've got a split in the top hose of the top radiator hose. And we tried patching it up with some tape because he didn't have any spare tubes on him or anything like that. And he asked me to start the engine up. I started the engine up. He said, turn it off quickly. He said, I hate to say this to you, mate, but it sounds like you've blown a head gasket, you've fried the engine. I said, how's that possible? Because as soon as I saw that there was a problem with the thermostat, I pulled over straight away, and he said I'd put money on it that the head gasket's gone. Now, that's the worst news that we could possibly hear. I think anybody could possibly hear. It's one of the worst things that could happen to your van, as you know, the most expensive thing that could happen to your van. But for us, 6 months ago, or just before Christmas, we paid for a brand new engine on our vehicle, on our van. The engine blew up on us and we got a brand new reconditioned engine. So that cost us close to £11,000. The last thing that we wanted to hear was that a head gasket has gone on that brand new engine. He said, the RAC guy said, it's not your fault, don't worry. Obviously it's a brand new engine, I keep an eye on the reservoir, the radiator tank, and make sure it's full all the time, especially in the hot weather we've been having in the UK. And so I've been keeping an eye on it, and I checked 2 days prior to this and it was fine. But it had dropped all of the fluid, all of the coolant onto the floor. So he said, but it's not your fault. It had crimped the hose in between the air filter and the main engine part, and it had caused it to split as it had been rubbing and getting hot up against the air filter. And then everything else was a chain event that happened from that point. So we're here waiting to be towed now, but I just can't believe how we're just talking about, how can it be like the engine, we've been driving the engine since coming back from India for what, 3 months maybe? How can it be with a brand new reconditioned engine that something would happen that it's just a head gasket issue straight away, head gasket gone, like the worst thing that could happen to it happened to it? How could that happen? I'm just sort of praying we're going to get towed to this garage, and tomorrow morning for them to say it's not a head gasket, it's just that you just need to replace the tube. But the RAC guy seems so certain that that's what it was. I just pray that he's wrong, because I'm not sure if we can plough and a load of money into this van. I'm really not sure we can do it, because the 11 grand last time was just a fortune, an absolute fortune. You get to a stage where you think, what, like, how far are we taking this? How far are we going with this? You know, I love the van to pieces. I love the back of the van to pieces now. We've invested so much money into it. But you would have thought with a brand new engine that would just be it. All our problems will be over. We can run around, like, you know, and be confident for many years. Just gutting. Either way, the RAC guy left, called out a tow truck for us. The RAC man said that there's an approved RAC garage, which is just behind us over here, that will tow you to within a 10-mile radius. If you're with the Caravan and Camping Club RAC membership, which is what we got, remember that you don't get nationwide recovery, which means that you don't get dropped off to anywhere you want in the UK. You only get the basic, which is if you're in an unsafe position, you get dropped off within a 10-mile radius to a garage. They suggested the garage to take us to. At midnight last night, the tow truck finally arrived after hours of waiting for it on the side of this busy road, and they took us to the garage behind us, just in north of Brighton, and a very small industrial estate. Woke up this morning bright and early. As soon as I saw the guys, the boss to the garage, as soon as I saw them enter the building, I spoke to him and he said, "Is everything all right?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What's wrong with the van?" I said, "Well, unfortunately it could be this, it could be a head gasket, but either way it won't start." He said, "Well, I don't know why they brought you here, because that van's too big for our workshop." And we've told the RAC this many times, and we were actually blocking their MOT door as well, so he said we're going to have to move it quick. So many of us managed to push the van into another space, but now this other space, I mean, it won't start, so without it being pushed, it won't be able to go anywhere. We managed to push it into another space, but that's it. We can't move it, and now it's blocking another business, and it has blocked another business for hours now. And all the morning I've been onto the RAC, just constantly applying pressure, saying you've left us in a place where it's obstructing other businesses and customers and what have you, and it's causing a right old problem.
Oh my god. Okay, so we are waiting now. We are blocking some people. We're not in the best position, but we literally can't move. So we're waiting till 2 o'clock for RAC to come. We have phoned them. We keep sort of phoning them and waiting on hold for ages and then getting through, but they're not hurrying things for us. So yeah. Anyway, I had the worst night's sleep last night. I just couldn't sleep. It was all going through my mind and I just couldn't break myself away from that. So it was all just going around. I felt sick in my stomach. I'm just fed up with all of this. I'm just really fed up with it. So yeah, we're gonna wait it out now and see what happens. You can only expect the worst, really, with what's happened previously to us. When things like this happen, I just think of the worst case scenario, but I'm hoping that I'm wrong. But we'll just wait and see. 2 o'clock we'll get picked up. I don't know when they're going to look at the van. They're going to try and squeeze us in at some point this week or in the next couple of days. So yeah, we'll find out then. We're kind of a little bit stranded as well. So we're going to try and get to this garage, and then we think we're going to stay in the van and yeah, just take it one step at a time, because we literally don't know what's going on.
I'm being told and hoping now that the tow truck is coming to take us to an actual place that can take us, that I've organised, which is 18 miles away. They said that we might have to pay for it because it's outside the 10-mile radius, but it was in the 10-mile radius of where we broke down. So I'm sort of, you know, and they did drop us off at a place where they can't help us, where we're stuck. So I'm sort of hoping that they sort of take liability for it. Either way, we need to get out of here pronto. The next conundrum is, obviously, oh, he's just arrived. I'll discuss the next bit later. Here's the tow truck just here now, just arrived. That's very, very good news. But yeah, the next conundrum is, firstly, is it a head gasket? We're praying that it's not, but the RAC man seems to think it is. And the second part after that is, if the place we're taking it to now can look after it for 5 weeks and do the work steadily, then there's potential that we can go away and do this huge 5-week adventure. If they can't, then we lose the adventure as well as having to pay for a head gasket and get all that work done. Wish us luck. Who knows what's going to happen? I just really, really hope this garage says it's not a head gasket and that they're willing to look after the vehicle for us. We've got an MOT coming up as well. Let's go see what happens. He's here. He's here.
Okay.
Pack, 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 pack. Hiya, mate. It's me broken down. Yeah.
So if you just find yourself,
yeah, you'll see the van. It's a big green one just down here, mate.
Okay, time to pack up and go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I've packed up everything, shut the skylight. Let's go.
Possible. He's not going to be able to get it. It's so tight down here. He's not going to be able to get it down here. We're going to have to push it.
Really?
I'm sure of it. Unless he can drag it from there.
So cold, I'm shivering the way that you leave and then come back for me. Lord knows I can't get you over my mind. Knock me down, then you get me so high.
We're ready to go.
Get me so high. So slow you crept up, took over my life. If I could have lived, but I can't even try. You get me so high. I pray that I won't let you in, but each time I do it over again. Trapped in your grip.
Thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
not a problem, you're very welcome. And best of travels.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Travel is the main word there.
Yeah.
If we're travelling, we're all right. If we're not, we're not. Back in the back of Morgan, at our place, the truck services garage place, we are so they're going to do a diagnostic on the engine in about an hour and a half, and try and work out what the problem is, and we're going to know then at that point what's happening, and then we can make a plan. Not much more can be said. We're going to go for a walk and come back and find out what our fate is.
I'm actually genuinely feeling really quite anxious now. So this walk to the beach hopefully is going to clear my head and get rid of this upside down stomach I've got. And then we'll come back and I'm not looking forward to it. Okay, so a bit of a change of plans. We've just been into the office and spoken to them. So they can't test Morgan out today because in order to test the head gasket, they need to change the inner tube. So they need to order a tube and they can't get the tube until tomorrow. So Morgan has to stay here overnight until they can get the tube to test the head gasket. Unfortunately, we can't stay in Morgan because they're closing the gates and they're not allowed to lock us in, which is fair enough. It's like a health and safety thing. So we're not actually allowed to stay in Morgan tonight, so we're gonna have to go. We're gonna pack our bags up and head into the local town and hopefully try and find some accommodation urgently, because we've literally got nowhere to stay tonight and time is knocking on now. So yeah, we're going to find some accommodation. Packing an overnight bag and walking to town, we grabbed a bite to eat and sat on the beach. After finding an available room above a pub, we headed in to chill for the evening. Good morning everyone. Today we have woken up in a hotel room above a pub. Not what we had planned really for today, but that's how things roll. We both got quite a good night's sleep actually, considering, although I did wake up with loads of stuff on my mind again. but that's all going to get cleared today. So we find out our fate today, and we're praying that it's good news. So yeah, we're just praying to go on this trip that we really want to go on, and we're praying that Morgan is okay and not too costly for us, but we'll see. Yeah, all we can do is hope. But anyway, we're going to go for some breakfast and wait for the news there in a cafe somewhere. How you feeling today, Liam?
Try not to think about it too much, to be honest with you. I just want to know. That's all I want to do. Is if we know something, we're in a better place, and we're just waiting for a phone call, and you know what that's like, don't you? So
we headed to grab some breakfast, then to the beach, still waiting for our phone call. Whilst Liam was chilling, I took the opportunity to cheer him up by putting on all his clothes. It seemed to work briefly, however we had to find out what was going on with the van, so we headed to the garage.
So what was supposed to be the morning, when we'd find out first thing in the morning, has actually ended up being quite a lot of the day. It's past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're having kittens, the closer it's getting. I'm literally waiting for a phone call from them. I did say if we don't hear from you soon, we're going to start walking up there. So we're going to go walk up there now, but hopefully we'll get a phone call beforehand with the news. But yeah, it's been a really, really tough day. Eating a lot of food, as we do when we're waiting for such good or bad news. Yeah, let's just walk and let's just hope.
Temporary repair where it looked like, I don't know, you or someone else had put a patch over the...
It was the RAC guy,
okay. So done that so I could do a head gasket test.
Yeah.
Filled it out with coolant. Eventually got it running, but it's just pumping coolant straight out the header tank, which means you're getting compression gases into the cooling system. So either, I mean, it could be head gasket, head's cracked, or the block's cracked, one of the two.
Either way, it's not good. No. Bugger.
No simple fix for that, I'm afraid.
No. So, yeah. So we have to go down that route of getting the head gasket sorted on it.
Yeah, I mean, you need to spend a bit more time, either take the engine apart, or look at just putting another engine in it.
Another engine?
Which you've already done.
It was £11,000 with all the ancillary parts as well. That's not the news that we wanted at all. It's a new engine, right? So hopefully it'll just be head gasket. Well, that's not hopefully, is it? Because that's still expensive, but it's a lesser of two evils from what I understand. God knows what's going to happen in the next 2 minutes.
This pipe shouldn't be that close to that.
And it's just wedged in there, right?
In my experience, it shouldn't be that tight.
Because that's where it's gone wrong. It's just there. That's it. One split.
Rub through on the reinforcement on the airbox. So
I don't know what to say, except I'm trying to work. You know how what I'm like. I'm trying to work towards some sort of way through this, because we can't. They've just said that they can't get it done. If they do accept the work, they can't get it done for another 2 to 3 weeks. And I said to them, well, actually, that might work out for us if we can leave it here till then, because obviously we can't move it, we can't drive it anywhere. And then we'll come and we just sort of, hopefully you can get the work done here, what needs to be done on it, and then we'll come back and collect it in sort of 5 weeks' time with whatever work that needs to be a new engine. It could be a new engine, could be another new engine within 6 months, 2 new engines within 6 months, or they might strip it apart and have a look at the head gasket and see what's going on with that. But they said they don't usually do it because it's not, because customers, they sort the head gasket out and customers drive off and they get an oil leak and come back and say this is your fault and stuff, and I understand where they're coming from with that.
I'm just absolutely devastated. And yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm feeling like I don't want this van anymore. And yeah, I just want to get away from all of this. I hate being in garages all the time. Yeah, that's just, I don't know, that's just where I'm at. I don't feel like Morgan's worth all this hassle.
Okay, well, that's it. You know the whole full story. Unfortunately, the compound where Morgan has been locked up for the day. We have no idea what we're doing, really, to be honest with you. Everything is up in the air. The other thing is where the garage where we've left it is a truck services place. And we're just waiting to hear from the boss whether they can take on the work or not. And what that work might look like. It's really, really bad luck and bad news. We don't seem to have, I sort of accept now, we don't seem to have good luck with vans in general. Whether it's cracks on windscreen, new engines, or another new engine within the space of 6 months. I'm just hoping it's the lesser of the evils. We're going to try and get our heads together and work out what we're going to do, and then we'll fill you in next time we see you on what we've decided to do next. But yeah, wish us luck anyway, and we'll see you next time.
That's crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. You and I, we got it. We don't need no more. Even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm.